of a shot of winning. We can beat anybody in the world, and I think we're going to win next Sunday.
And welcome back to the New York Jets Atlantic Flight Podcast. Happy days ahead. Daniel's with me today, and we are going to be talking about the rookies' numbers, and we're going to be talking also about retiring numbers, and also rookie training camp has started, and a certain wide receiver from Pittsburgh got traded to the Cowboys this week as well. So let's bring Daniel in. Daniel, how are you, brother?
I'm doing excellent, Gus. Pretty good day for an excellent weekend to talk about this latest developments in the Jets and, of course, what's going on in the NFL.
It's an awesome day. Let's get straight into this. Actually, I'll tell you what we'll do before this, because we had kind of some breaking news. It was training camp yesterday and today, the rookie training camp, and we have even more players. There were some walk-ons that have joined the Jets. Anyone who doesn't know what a walk-on is, it's literally the door's open. If you think you're good enough, come and show us what you can do. And they might be gone in 5 minutes. They might be gone in 5 hours. They might be gone in 5 days, 5 months. But the point being is, if you think you're good enough, it is your chance to shine. And there's no strings attached. It's a bit like a pro day, isn't it, Daniel?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. And, this is the stuff that, we'd love to hear, that we'd love to talk about, these drafted rookies, these undrafted rookies getting an opportunity to get on a training field and to go out there and strut their stuff and show the coaching staff why they were selected.
And we have a fan favourite, don't we? That was a walk-on. Came from Hofstra, a diminutive person with the name of Wayne Cribet. He was a walk-on, and I think he originally played. Was it 3? His rookie camp number? I can't remember.
Might have been. Usually, when I was that young, I didn't really pay attention to the rookies and what numbers they wore in the training camp sessions or the OTAs. But look. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to discuss.
It's a pub question. It's a pub quiz question, isn't it? What number did Wayne Cribet wear before he wore his famous number 80? So that's for you, pot pickers. Go out there and Google what number did he wear. I think it was 3 or 5. I think, but I can't be sure on that. But I know it wasn't 80. It was another number other than 80. But I don't have that to hand, and it's fun for you to go and find something out. Anyway, I'm just going to rattle off these names. Their name, their position, and their college, because there's 12 of them, and we've got a few bits and pieces to get through. So we'll start at the top in alphabetical order. Avery Boyd, tight end, Georgia Tech. Kevin Burkett, offensive line. Elon, not Musk. Warren Burrell, cornerback, Georgia Tech.
Elon Musk. Wait a second, he's left those already?
We got D-line. We need some D-line. We've got Michael Fletcher, D-line, Appalachian State. Taji Johnson, wide receiver, my alma mater, Boston College. Trey Jones, safety, Texas A&M. Connor Shea, linebacker, Wyoming. Shamari Simmons, safety, Arizona State. Andrew Stokes, punter. 6'6", that dude, South Florida. Lawrence Tofili, running back, Florida State. Giovanni Williams, linebacker from Miles, and Sean Racker, I think that's how you pronounce it, Ratcher, long snapper out of Indiana. What jumps out at me there, Daniel, is we've got 2 more safeties in there, and we've got another cornerback. That really jumps out. I think the safety spot is up for grabs. I was speaking to some other people the other day, and they seem to think that by game 1, Malachi Moore, he has a really good chance to be a starter. And I have to say, after watching him play and studying him a little bit more since the draft I think there's a very, very good chance. He is super smart. He is a student of the game, and he's going to be in Aaron Glenn's, knocking on his door 24/7, I reckon, and asking for help, racking his brains. But I think so. But this jumps out at me is we've got more safeties coming in here. I like to see the O-line. There's only one O-line walk-on. So, but he is a big boy. Kevin Burkett. He's 6'2", 325 out of Elon Musk. But we've got another wide receiver. That can't be a bad thing. He is a 6'2", 213-pound player out of Boston College. But don't really know anything about these guys, so not going to say I know anything about it. The punter, Andrew Stokes? He was a semi-finalist for the Ray Guy Award in 2024. You do not get that if you're not a very good punter. He was averaging 45.5 yards per punt with 27 punts inside the 20 and 22 boots of at least 50 yards. So this guy's got one hell of a leg. So there's going to be a little bit of competition. So Morstead, you're going to be looking over your shoulder, I think. But I think that's pretty much. We'll leave that there, and we'll go to the announcement yesterday that the Jets rookies have all got their numbers now. Are you familiar with any of the numbers, Daniel?
Not really. I mean, like I said, it's mostly training camp, and I just paid more attention to what goes on during the what's going on the field than the training facility. So I'd rather pay attention to that. But look, there are those that they feel that this is a big deal, and I'm not here to poo-poo that. I just if they feel like yourself, it's a huge deal, then hey, listen, it's a huge deal, and it's great to see that certain players are going to get numbers that the fans feel they feel it's more of an accommodation, of what how to recognize them. And I understand Mason Taylor originally had number 46. Now he's got a new number. And you could go ahead and explain that one. I guess it's what now, in the 80s, I believe?
It is. It's Wesley Walker's old number, 85.
Wow.
That looks really good. I'll tell you what's really funny, because I'm looking at the Jets website now, and obviously, as you rightly said, Taylor chose. Well, he didn't choose. He got awarded 46, and he's like, all right, I don't care. I'm here to play football. Great attitude, that. I really don't care. Give me any number. I couldn't give a, just give me a shirt, put a playing number on it, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to play football. And I love that. No histrionics or anything. Oh, I don't like that number. He should have minded, because it was 46, and it was, well, it's just my opinion, but 46 is a pretty ugly number for a receiver. So I was talking to Ryan yesterday, and I kind of slipped up, because I said there's only two numbers that I like in the 40s. That's 41 and 42. And
right.
Ryan is a linebacker, and he plays in 44. So I had to dig myself out of that one quite quickly. Yep, 44 is good as well. So backtrack. Apologies, Ryan. So apologies for that. So anyway, I'm looking at the Jets website now, and they have a picture of all the jerseys hanging up. It's a mock-up of the jerseys hanging on hangers on a rail, and it's got Taylor's there. It says 85 blazoned across the chest, but someone in their infinite wisdom didn't take it off the shoulders, so it still says 46 on the shoulders. So hopefully he's not going to be running out with that in real life. So let's go through the numbers. I'm quite a traditionalist. I do like all my receivers, tight ends and receivers, to be wearing in the 80s. I'm not a fan of these single digits and all that, but old school.
Right. And
Membu's chosen a brilliant offensive line number. He is now playing number 70. And I think that'll probably stick. But looks good. As we've mentioned, Taylor has gone from ugly 46 to, oh my God, he's got number 85. He looks so beautiful. This one's a little bit of a head scratcher. Arian Thomas, the wide receiver, he's actually playing in 23, which is, for my book, that's a running back number.
Yeah, oh, no. I agree.
Is that Arian? Oh, it's Arian Smith. Beg your pardon. Oh, Thomas, the cornerback. Beg your pardon. Apologies. I've got that around the wrong way. Azariah Thomas is playing 23. That is a cornerback number. That's why I was confused. So Thomas is playing in 23. Arian Smith is playing in 82. So another good number there. Malachi Moore has gone from his old college playing number of 13 to 27. We have no player on the roster in 13. I will let you know why in a minute. But he is now 27. The linebacker, Maui Goa, because I can now say it properly. Maui Goa. He's
Maui
playing
Goa.
Maui Goa. See how good your history is here, Daniel. He's playing in Greg Buttle's old number. What number's that? Do you
Oh
remember?
God.
Greg Buttle?
No, I don't. No, I forgot. I mean, I know he played, but I don't remember him at all in the defense. I think it was more. I paid more attention to the only players I paid attention to back then. It was
Lance Mel.
you know, yep. Well, yeah, that's one of yeah. Lance Mel, Ken O'Brien, Richard Todd, Freeman McNeil, and then on defense, obviously,
The sack exchange.
Klecko,
Yeah.
Klecko, Gastineau.
Abdul.
Also Abdul Salam
Yeah.
and
R.I.P.
Marty Lyons. That's all I remember. Yep.
I have a signed picture of I'm looking at it right now. I've got a black and white picture of Abdul Salam, signed picture from the great man himself. I do not understand this, Daniel. Why is Abdul Salam not in the Ring of Honor? I think it's an absolute disgrace that the other members of the Sack Exchange that are there and he's not there.
No, listen, look. I've been, I've been saying the same thing. I think it's time that the Jets just put Abdul Salam to complete the Ring of Honor. And even though he's not around anymore, I think it's only fair that Woody. It is. I think it's only fair that Woody Johnson honors the family all the way and say, okay, we're gonna put your husband's name, your dad's name in our Ring of Honor because that's where it should have been all along. It wasn't just Klecko. It wasn't just Marty. No. It wasn't just Gastineau. It was also Salam. You got to remember. It's kind of like you got to have the four horsemen together.
Of course.
And, not just when they were on the field, but away from the field. Okay, I got a phone call. I got to take this, Gus.
No problem. I will just. So Abdul Salam, he was a member of the Sack Exchange. Daniel's just had to leave us for a second. As he said, there were four of them, and he's not in the Ring of Honor. But the thing with Abdul Salam is he did a lot of the dirty work, and if you don't know what I mean, he was eating up a lot of blocks so the others could get their sacks, get their tackles in. So he did a lot of that dirty work. So anyway, I posed that question. Maui Goa is playing in Greg Buttle's old number. Well, that old number is 51. So a good number. I like that. It's a linebacking number. So awesome. I like that a lot. And we've got an edge guy as well, Tyler Barron. Again, he chose a really good number as well. And that number is 94, which is a good edge number. Daniel, are you back, brother?
I am back. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's absolutely right. It's all right. This is real life. This is what happens. This is what happens when we're recording live. All these kind of things happen.
These things do happen.
So yes, the number was, I just told everybody, the number Greg Buttle, he played in 51.
Oh, so, okay. He wore 51.
He wore 51. Good. So Maui Goa is now playing in 51. A linebacker playing in the 50s.
Maui Goa.
Offensive lineman. If you've got a number in the 50s, please give it to a linebacker. You should not be wearing a number in the 50s. So anyway, I'm old school. So I mentioned Malachi Moore earlier on. His college number was 13. And we've got no one on the team with number 13. So why, Daniel, why have we not got any player on the roster with the number 13 shirt?
Superstition.
Superstition?
Superstition.
No, it's because it's retired.
Well, that's true too.
Yes, this is it.
Don Maynard,
exactly, exactamundo. So Don Maynard, he was arguably, he still is our best ever wide receiver, which is fairly sad because I think he hung up his cleats in the early 70s, I believe. He broke a ton of records. The guy was lightning in a bottle as well. I mean, he was Joe Namath's go-to, along with George Sauer as well. Great players. And he got retired. So this brings us up onto our next topic. And it's a little bit of a bone of contention for me. So over in the UK, we don't do this, retiring numbers. No. We might build you a statue outside the ground or have a painting in the lobby or something like that, or get honoured in different ways. But we don't do this retiring numbers. I think it's probably pretty much a USA thing, an American thing of retiring numbers.
Yes, it's a North American thing. And, I think this originally got started a long time ago in baseball, I believe, because when Babe Ruth retired from playing in Major League Baseball, and everyone knows him playing for the Yankees. Obviously, he started his professional career with the Boston Red Sox, and of course, he got traded from Boston to the Yankees at that time. And um, it's a long story on that one, but really simple. The owner of the Red Sox at the time was a failed Broadway musical producer, and so I guess it was something to do with a play or called No No Nanette, and Ruth was traded to the Yankees for that because I believe the owner of the Yankees at the time, Colonel James Rupert, um, sold him the rights to that Broadway play or whatever the idea. So, something like that. Something crazy back in the day. I can tell you crazy trades that's happened in other sports. I can tell you there was a certain player that in professional ice hockey at the National Hockey League, the Rangers made a trade. The New York Rangers made a trade with the Buffalo Sabres for a certain player, and they asked for the compensation. He goes, okay, let's just make it $1. Okay, fine, $1 it is, and that's how it happened. It's crazy stuff. But or as we call it a trade, you'll call it a transfer. But it's kind of like it's almost the same thing, except you're just trading players. But anyway, or you're transferring different players to different clubs. But anyway, it's just it all started, here in North America. I think that's what it is. It's the same thing. Like you have these great players that that they represent a certain club and they get honored because we'll always remember you wearing this number, and that's yours. It won't belong to anybody else. This is your number for the rest of your life. We will all recognize your accomplishments when we retire your number, and we put it in a section of the ground where you will be immortalized forever. Just like I mean, Arsenal has the statue of Thierry Henry. Does Alan Shearer have a stand named after him? Or
not a stand, but he has got a statue outside the front of St James's Park,
exactly,
right alongside Sir Bobby Robson. So in good company. But there's going to be people listening to this, probably from the US side of things here. I'm going to say something, and people are just going to go, "Oh, well, that's just sacrilege." So I do not like the idea of retiring numbers for indefinitely. If you're going to retire a number, make it, I don't know, 10 years or something like that. And, and when that number is unretired, put a patch on the jersey that whoever's got it. So, for example, if Malachi Moore wanted to wear 13, it would have a patch on it that somewhere on it that said, Don Maynard, and then from, whenever, 1962 to 1974 or whenever it was he played his career. Just an ode to. But this thing, the problem I've got with this is once that number is retired, you can't use it. It's gone.
No, you can't. Nope, you can't. Nope, that's it.
So let's just
here's the thing.
Hang on a sec. Just let me just finish this. So
I'm sorry.
It's all right. So now you've got a college player, and for argument's sake, he's a running back, and he wears number 34, and he wants to wear 34 in his professional career, and he's going to be a top pick. It's going to be a top 3 pick, and he looks at teams X, Y, and Z, and he says, gee whiz, these teams, they could possibly be picking me, but they've got all their number 34s retired. And one of those is, for example, the Bears. They've got 34 retired. Walter Payton's old number. I'd love to go to Chicago, but I don't really want to go there because I want to wear my 34. Now, players, they're funny, especially football players, they get attached to that number and it becomes part of them. It becomes part of their identity. Now, okay, it's just a number. It's just a number. And I've alluded to this, Mason Taylor. I don't care what number. I don't care. Just give me a number. I just want to go and play football. So you've got people like that. But then you will have other players that do want to wear that shirt. And I think the whole thing's just a little bit sad. So you can only, okay, we've introduced the zeros now. So you can pick, I don't think 00 exists at the moment, but you can pick any number between 0 and 99. So we've retired number 13, Don Maynard's number. But we
Yeah.
haven't retired Mark Gastineau's 99. Arguably, he's been an absolute force. In my opinion, that sack record still should stand, and we all know what happened there. But, you could argue that Gastineau has been just as great a player for this team as Don Maynard has. Influential. He's probably sold more jerseys than Don Maynard has. I mean, obviously, he played in an era where you couldn't buy a jersey, but you can now. But you get my point. So I don't like this. If you're going to retire a jersey, make it for a year, 5 years, 10 years max or something. But to continuously have it, that number is now never going to be worn by another player again. But then you get the situation where Rodgers came to join the team and Joe Namath said, hey, listen, buddy, if you want to wear 12, go ahead and wear 12. And he was our greatest ever player. And, does it really mean that much to these players that their number gets retired and no one else can wear it? It just seems pointless and petty to me. So anyway, what's your take on this, Daniel?
Well, listen, look, I mean, the truth is I've been used to this for as long as I can remember. We've seen great players, depending on which team you support here in North America, depending on what sport it is. We're all used to it. I mean, we all fondly remember. Now, I'm not saying, we have to be married to it or anything like that, but the truth is that, I'll never forget what, being a New York Yankee fan that I am, Don Mattingly did so many things when I was growing up that I can only incorporate number 23 with Don Mattingly. Now, let me say this, that before even some of these players wore these numbers, what the hell? Let me just say this, whatever the thing is with, being married to a number and stuff, a former player, back in the day, before even these numbers were retired, you had greats like, for the Yankees, you had two catchers in two different eras. You had Bill Dickey and you also had Yogi Berra. Now, they played in two separate eras for the Yankees. Both men wore that same number and they retired that number twice. So they retired it for Bill Dickey and they also retired it for Yogi Berra, who have been a part of many, many championship teams for the Yankees. And also recently, the same thing happened with the New York Knicks. You had two players wearing number 15 at the time. They retired that number, in two different eras. They retired those numbers for those two men that wore it, that did the most with it. Then recently, we've had two players who've done magical things for the New York Rangers. One of them was Mark Messier, who finally got the Stanley Cup for the New York Rangers after 54 years of nothing. But before him was also a gentleman that wore number 11 at the time, Vic Hadfield, who was the first New York Ranger to score 50 goals in a season. And he was a part of a scoring line, even though he was never a goal scorer himself. But when he was a part of that goal scoring line back in the 60s and 70s, maybe even to the 50s as well, he got honored to now form with the other two line mates, which was Rod Gilbert and Jean Rattel. Those are French-Canadian people, not from France. He got that number 11 got retired twice. So, it happened, here in New York. Sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. Now, let me also go by what you're saying, as well. Ever since Woody Johnson created this Ring of Honor to honor great Jet players, they have their names on a placard. They have their numbers on the placard, but they're not retired. Mm-hmm. They have kept the numbers on the roster. So that's why Will McDonald still is wearing number 99. Yes, if you're a Jet fan, you associate that number with Mark Gastineau, but because it's not fully retired, Will McDonald is wearing it. And the same thing goes with Nick Mangold. He wore 74. His name is in the Ring of Honor, but they never retired it.
And the funny thing
And
is,
that's why, and that's why Olu Fashanu is wearing his number. So, I mean, things are changing, probably.
it's really funny that you bring those up in particular, because last year, or was it the year before, when McDonald went to 99, there was an outcry. Why is he wearing 99? He can't wear 99. 99 should be retired. Well, it isn't, and he's wearing it, and that's the end of it. Get over it.
Yeah.
And then
Now,
Fashanu gets 74. That's Mangold's number. He's an All-Pro. He's going to the Hall of Fame. His number should be retired. Well, where are we going to draw the line on this? Are we just going to just keep retiring numbers? And you've hit on a really, really great point, Daniel. Woody Johnson's got this Ring of Honor, and it's a great thing. So there's the placard. And if you don't know what Daniel's going on about, in MetLife, there's a great big border thing that runs around the stadium, and it's got their number and it's got their name in green and white emblazoned all over the stadium. Looks fab, looks really great, and it's there for everybody to see. It's a bit like Florham Park, where they've got all the pictures up, haven't they, in the training facility. It looks good. So you retire a number. Great. But this is just as good. This is just as good. It's honouring these great players that have played for us in this team. It's just as good. I think it's even better. But putting you on the spot. So are you a favour of retiring or not?
It doesn't matter to me, to be honest with you. It doesn't matter to me, to be honest with you. I mean, it's either or right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind them retiring a playing number, a jersey number for that player who's done something special. I mean, obviously, I'm used to that being here in North America. But if they decide not to retire the jersey number and they want to do the Ring of Honor around MetLife Stadium, that's fine. Now, let me go to a different team. And while, I don't care if it's either or, I want to go towards the New York Football Giants here for a second, because something has popped up. And, this started last year, and then it continued into this year, even though it didn't happen. As we all know, the Giants drafted wide receiver Malik Neighbors, and he always wanted to wear number 1. Now, apparently, that number was retired. I forget the gentleman's name who used to wear it, but he did things for the Giants long, long time ago, back in the early 1900s. He called the family to request or to ask permission. Can I wear his number? Can we unretire it and I can wear it? Now they said yes. And, now, the first round draft pick for the Giants, and it's not Jackson Dart, it's the new guy. Was it Abdul Carter, I think it is?
Yeah, that's correct.
He contacted First, he contacted Leonard Taylor. Leonard Taylor. Who was basically a quarterback sacking eating machine. Lawrence Taylor, my fault. And so Lawrence Taylor, he wanted to wear 56. That's one of his two lucky numbers, and he said no, it's my number. I retired. I play with this number. This is my number. I'm associated with this number. I will not give you my number. Then, all of a sudden, he has another number that he wants to use, and it was number 11. And number 11 for the Giants was Super Bowl quarterback winner Phil Simms. And originally, Phil Simms was thinking to himself, I'll let him use my number, but Phil Simms got basically outvoted by his family, by his sons and his wife, to say, no, that's your number. You did magical things with that number. Why should you give up your number for that guy? Why? And then he's like, okay, I heard you. I won't do it. And so Malik Neighbors not only strike 1 with 56, he went strike 2 with number 11. But then he chose a different number, and that's whatever number they gave him. That's what he's using now. So, my feeling is this. While, either or is fine with me, but if that number's been already retired by a certain club, in the National Football League. And that player feels, connected to that number because he's done things with that number. He's won a championship with that number. He's won titles with that number. Well, then, in my opinion, that number should be left alone.
Okay. Right. Well, I'm going to use your template, New York Giants. Number one was actually a player called Ray Flaherty. If you've never heard that name before, it's because you weren't born. He was 1926, Ray Flaherty.
Mm-hmm.
Flaherty.
Mm-hmm.
Flaherty,
so, yeah.
I'm looking at the Giants' retired numbers now. So these are all the numbers. 1, 4, 7, 10, 11, 14, 16, 32, 40, 42, 50, 56, 92. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14 numbers. They've retired 14 numbers. Now, bear in mind, you've got from 0 to 99. Less 14 numbers. So my math isn't catching up with me there. So that's a lot of numbers that you can't choose from that aren't going to get issued again. So I don't like it. And I totally understand Phil Simms' family not wanting to get ultimately that should have been Phil Simms' decision. So he's had that taken away from him, from his family.
Yep.
Don't agree with that either. That should have been Phil Simms'. That's Phil Simms' number, and he should have been able to do what he wanted to do with it, what he liked.
No, I understand.
If Joe Namath is willing to let his number go, okay, it was Aaron Rodgers, who's also a Hall of Fame quarterback. It doesn't matter that he was. The fact of the matter was, our Hall of Fame quarterback in Joe Namath was willing to let somebody else wear that number. So it's just a nonsense to me. It's in my opinion, it's childish. We're making something. It's just a number, and if it, goodness sakes, and I say it's just a number, it means a lot to the players that want to come into the league. And the likes of Phil Simms and Eli Manning, and I say we're talking about the Giants here, Frank Gifford and Lawrence Taylor, Michael Strahan. Yeah, they loved their numbers and they did great things with it. But now pass it on to somebody else. Hey, wouldn't it be great if, like Lawrence Taylor, 56, wouldn't it be great if Abdul Carter wore 56 and continued in the vein that Lawrence Taylor has started, an outstanding player? And wouldn't it be great if, like, all the Giants, they had 50 number 56 players in the century or what have you, that were absolutely outstanding, all Hall of Famers, and they all wore 56. Brilliant. But now there's just one now. I think it's sad. I think it's unnecessary, and there are other ways where you can honour players. So that's where I stand on that one.
That's fine. Listen, look, apples and oranges,
Yeah.
That's all it is, really. But just to let everyone know, the New York Yankees are over 100 years old, obviously. And, they have over 22 numbers no longer in service. 22 professional playing numbers, jersey numbers no longer in service, because retired for 23 people, for 23 former players. I mean, I won't give you the full list, but obviously Babe Ruth was the first. Babe Ruth is one. Joe DiMaggio is another. They've also retired great managers. And here's the funny thing too. Did you know that the Jets, because Weeb Ewbank was the head coach for that Super Bowl III champion Jets, they have at the time, and I'm not kidding, they had a green jacket, meaning for the head coach, and they had his name Ewbank on the back. So instead of a playing number, they technically retired Weeb Ewbank's coaching jacket, which is kind of funny. But still, though, they want to honor, because in Major League Baseball, yeah, exactly. Because in Major League Baseball, even managers get their numbers retired. Because did you know the only reason why a Major League Baseball manager also wears a uniform like the players do? Because you want to know why? Because
I didn't know this.
Because, yeah, I'll tell you why. Because they are allowed to walk on the field.
Ah, right. I get it.
That's why. Because they can walk up to an umpire either at home plate or any of the bases, and have a conversation or an argument.
Mm-hmm.
And usually 9 times out of 10, if it's an argument, it's not only 5 pounds, but you're chucked out of the field. You're off the pitch permanently. So that's why, and that's why a manager in football has a technical area. Why do you think they have that chalked up box in front of their dugout, in front of their bench, so that they're able to walk out there up to a point where they don't interfere with the referee, with the assistants, with the they can go up to the fourth official, obviously, but they have to remain inside their technical area. That's why you don't see head coaches in ice hockey, walk on the ice and interfere with the referees. The referees have to skate up to their bench. And same thing with the NBA. The head coach can walk up and down the out of bounds sideline, but they can't actually walk on the court to during the interfering of play. So there you have it. That's the reason why we have laws of the game for different sports, for what needs to be done to make sure that not only players adhere to it, but the head coaches and managers have to adhere to them as well, because they have their own rules at the same time.
Yeah. And I think that's quite succinctly put. Cheers, Daniel, for that.
Yeah.
That's clarity. See, we can get on, and we can. I think this is a good demonstration of we've covered something that is quite close to people's hearts, and I've seen on Twitter that people can get quite heated in these debates, especially about the jersey retiring thing. You can have a sensible debate, and you don't have to get hot under the collar. You can agree to disagree. So it's fine to agree to disagree. And I don't think we've agreed to disagree or anything like that. I think we both appreciate each other's standpoints on this one. Again, I'm not an American, and it's not a culture that I've grown up in.
To hell with you, damn it! No, I'm kidding.
And it's just like I totally understand that people want to see the retired thing, but in my opinion, and as I say, you start backing yourself in. It's like that, the guy I've just mentioned, Flaherty on the Giants, played number 1. It's 1926. He's died many, many years ago. Maybe when a player dies, the number gets reissued. So it's just in their lifetime or something like that. But permanent retirement, I don't think is a good thing. Anyway, let's leave that one there. As we are talking right now, just as we came on air, Aaron Glenn was giving a presser from the rookie OTAs. If you want to call it OTAs or the rookie training camp.
We'll call it OTAs. Either or, it doesn't matter, whatever.
So OTAs, organised training activities. I've got to mention this because I was like, wow, because I don't think this is. I'm going to Google this afterwards because I don't know that this has ever been done before. Now, a lot of NFL teams have had brothers on their teams before. And we have 2 brothers. We've got Quinnen and Quincy Williams. Well, guess what? We just got another one, Giovanni Williams. So he's out of Texas A&M, Kingville, before he transferred to Miles College in Alabama. When he finished the remaining 2 years of eligibility, Williams was part of the Golden Bears team that won the SIAC championship in 2024 for the first time in 2019. His collegiate career, he played 28 games, had 100 tackles, 4 sacks, and 4 passes defended. So we've got another Williams here. Daniel, can you ever remember a team that's had 3 brothers on it? I'm not saying he's going to be a full-time player, but he's on the roster at the moment. Sorry, so you can.
Yeah, I can, and it's been not in the NFL, but there have been famous families in different sports in North America that have had at least a brothers, a pair, sometimes 3, and usually it is from the. There was this one famous family, the Sutter family. They're Canadian, and they've had twins actually playing for the same team, Rich and Ron for the St. Louis Blues. There have been other Sutter players. There have been Sutter family members who have been, on the same team, sometimes against each other in the National Hockey League. Even the Stahl family. I remember the Rangers having Mark Stahl and then his brother Eric, who was the oldest. joined him for a year or two on the Rangers, and it has happened. It has happened at times. Even we've had other brothers who have been coaches. I understand that we've had their former players, and one was the head coach, and the other brother was the assistant coach, and his other brother was the assistant coach. So yes, it's quite possible that we could not just have a pair of brothers, but if it's more than just two, it could be three. So, I
But
mean,
I've never heard of it in the
after all,
NFL,
Aaron,
though. I've never heard of it in the NFL.
yes. No, this is the first, actually.
Yeah.
This is actually a first, that it's three brothers that, first of all, the third Williams brother, what's his name again? The
Giovanni.
third one? Giovanni. Listen, we don't know if Giovanni's made the team or not, so until then, we have to hold back, but because this is just training camp. But still, though, if Giovanni Williams does play with Quinton and Quincy, first of all, that's kind of weird. I thought it'd be Quinton to get triple Q.
Did they run out of Q names? I'm
They
not
must
sure.
have.
Yeah. Well, I believe that Quentin was still available, so could have had
Yes.
Quentin. So, well, let's wrap this up. There was a rumor on Twitter. I forget when it happened. I think it was either Thursday or Friday. A rumor came out on Twitter. Obviously, the schedule's coming out on May the 14th. And
Yes, that's correct.
shortly after, I think, as I say, it was on Thursday, I think it was, and there was an announcement that Good Morning Football, GMFB, they had exclusive news on the London games announcement.
That's right.
And then these reports started coming onto Twitter. I say reports. There's nothing substantial about it that I can look at this and go, right, okay, it's come from you. This is legit. So, but a lot of people were all saying the same things. So it kind of had like a tinge of, this is too coincidental that everyone's reporting the same thing. So has this been leaked? So that's what we were referring to it as, a leak. So this is the alleged leak. Vikings at Browns. So the Vikings will be making their trip over again. Any Vikings fans listening to this, or any Browns fans listening to this, the Vikings fans that came over to London last year were absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And me and a lot of other Jets fans that met these Vikings fans, we all had an absolutely fantastic time. Brilliant crowd. So it comes on to the Jets. So the rumour is it's going to be the Broncos at the Jets, which will be, I believe, October the 12th. So put that in your diaries if this happens, but write it in pencil. So Broncos at Jets. And the last game, a lot of people are saying that this isn't a good game. I think it is a good game, but the Rams at the Jags, of course, the Jags playing more London games than anybody else, and I think that's probably at Wembley. Sorry, I need to say that the Broncos at Jets will be at Tottenham. So 3 teams from last year, same matchup. So different matchup. So
yeah,
what do you think of that? Broncos at Jets.
Listen, I mean, I didn't know it was going to be the Broncos. I thought maybe it'd be in the Cowboys. I thought maybe it would have been, I mean, it wasn't going to be the Browns, that's for sure. But, I thought maybe we would have had the Bills, maybe the Patriots. Because I remember the first time the Jets were in Wembley for their first trip to London was against the Dolphins. And I wouldn't have minded maybe another, Jet-Dolphin matchup over in London. But it would have been really, big divisional opponent. Maybe the Bills, too. I mean, I wouldn't have minded seeing Bills-Jets as a divisional game over in London. But, look, this is what it is. I have no ill will. I have nothing against it. So be it. And I feel time for some revenge on the Broncos after that game last year, which, of course, that was a complete screw up, which we won't go back into it. There'll be horrible memories, of course, for what happened during that game. But still, though, look, it's the Broncos. Let's go for it. I'm ready to go. And of course that they are saying it'll be week 6 of the NFL season. So and also, now, there's also a leak of the full schedule, apparently. Now, let me just say to everyone, I'm not saying this is correct. Outside of the London game, and that's going to be week 6, which would be on Sunday, October the 12th. We're not saying this is the correct schedule for the Jets.
No.
But this is the leak that came out saying the Jets would start the season at home against the Patriots. And if the handshake agreement truly becomes real between Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to say that week 2 would be Sunday Night Football, as the Steelers would come play the Jets at MetLife with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback for Pittsburgh and Justin Fields as our quarterback for the Jets. So it would be a Sunday night game. Then they'd be away for 2 straight games at New Orleans, which of course I don't know if we've mentioned this, but Derek Carr is officially retired because if he's going to go through that surgery for his shoulder, that he doesn't want to be on the IR for the entire season, so he's decided to retire. Well, thank you, Derek Carr, for your service. Then they're going to be going to Cincinnati for Monday Night Football for week 4, back home against Carolina Panthers for week 5 before they fly off to London. Then they'll have the bye week for week 7. Then they come back stateside for week 8. They'll be down here near me for Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. And then week 9, they'll be home to the Cowboys. Then week 10 at the Patriots. Sunday Night Football, week 11 at home against the Bills. Then 2 road games at Baltimore, week 12, at Jacksonville, week 13. Come back to play the Dolphins at MetLife for week 14. Then they come down to Western Florida to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Raymond James on week 15 for Monday Night Football. Then the rest of the way, it's 1 o'clock. They'll finish off at home to the Falcons week 16, against the Browns week 17 for the last home game of the season, and they'll finish the entire regular season week 18 at the Buffalo Bills in the new year on January 4th. So this is the leaked schedule outside of the London game. Yeah.
It might not be real.
It might not be real. Listen. It might not be real. So don't say to us you're pretending it's not real when it really is. We don't know. I don't know. But for now, this is what I got. This is off of Twitter. And I know how hungry we are for NFL schedule leaks. But for now, this is what it is. We're not married to it. We don't know what it is outside of the London game. But for now, if you want to write it down and compare it to when we get to May 14th for the official announcement, then go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Do not book any flights or anything else, because this is just, we don't know if this is true or not. So it isn't
exactly.
Gospel. That's what Daniel's saying.
That's only gossip.
Yeah. Gossip is a good place to leave this. The only thing that we know for absolute fact is all our young Jets are now in rookie training camp. Some of the old guys have returned as well, the likes of Zach Kuntz and Martinez. They're there as well. So the practice squad guys basically are there as well. They're practicing right now as we're recording this. There will be pictures of training on the NewYorkJets.com website. Go over there, check it out, have a look to see what's going on there. Some absolutely incredible pictures of these guys going through the drills. Some really good videos as well. There's a lovely video of Arians going through some drills there. He is lightning, this guy. Oh my God, he's going to be so exciting, regardless of whether he can catch the ball or not. Just when I see him, just burn cornerbacks next season. Well, this season. Daniel, thanks, brother. We'll be doing this again. Hopefully we'll have some news from training camp where we can go into a little bit more detail about some of the players that are competing for a role on our brilliant team. See you next week, Daniel. Okay.
Y'all know what to say. On 3. 1, 2, 3.